Hey everyone, and welcome to your science news update for February 3rd, 2026. We've got a lot to cover today. We're going to go from these absolutely mind-blowing black hole collisions way out in space, all the way down to tiny little labs that are completely changing how we fight disease. So let's just dive right in. All right, so here's what's on the docket. We're talking about the clearest echo from a black hole crash we've ever heard. Then we'll get into a cosmic mystery that's been bugging scientists for 50 years, and it looks like it's finally solved. After that, a huge leap in medical tech with a liver on a chip, and how AI is about to seriously speed up science. And we'll wrap up with some really important updates on space missions from NASA and SpaceX. Okay, so let's kick things off in the world of astrophysics. We've got a new discovery that's not just interesting, it's really putting our basic understanding of how the universe works to the test. So, check this out. The LIGO Virgo Kagra team picked up this signal, GW250114. And what it is basically an echo from two black holes that smashed into each other billions of light years from here. But the truly extraordinary thing? It's the clarity. I mean, it is so clean, so pristine, that it actually confirms Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity with the level of accuracy that we couldn't even dream of before this. And get this, the magic number here is 80. That's the signal-to-noise ratio. So, think of it like tuning an old radio. How clear is the music compared to the static? Well, the previous record for a signal like this was a 42. This one, it's an 80. It doesn't just beat the record, it absolutely demolishes it. This is without a doubt the cleanest gravitational wave we have ever seen. And this data just shows you the sheer, raw, mind-boggling power we're talking about. You've got two black holes, right? Each one is more than 30 times the mass of our own sun. They spiral into each other, and in those last few moments, bam, they convert the equivalent of 3.1 of our suns, just poof, into pure energy. That's the ripple they sent across the cosmos for us to find. But it gets even better. Because this signal was so clear, it did more than just double-check Einstein's homework. For the very first time, it gave us solid proof of Stephen Hawking's famous area theorem from way back in 1971. The idea is pretty simple. The surface area of a black hole can't ever get smaller. And now, we've seen it happen. This is huge for physics, confirming a prediction that's been on the books for half a century. So, staying out there in the cosmos for a minute, all this new insight is helping us crack other really old puzzles. For something like 50 years, astronomers have been scratching their heads about why galaxies right next door to us are, well, running away. It didn't make sense. But now, it looks like we might finally have an answer. So here's the deal. For decades, the big question was, why are galaxies near us moving away? I mean, with the massive gravity of our Milky Way and our neighbor Andromeda, they should be coming towards us, right? Well, it turns out new simulations have uncovered this kind of hidden architecture in our local universe. There's a giant, flat sheet of dark matter just past our little group of galaxies, and that's what's pulling them away. Add in these huge empty voids above and below it that kind of channel the flow, and suddenly, all that weird motion starts to make perfect sense. Okay, so now we're going to go from the biggest skills imaginable all the way down to the microscopic. We're talking about a really amazing breakthrough in biotech that could totally change how we understand and fight human disease. We're talking about a liver disease called MASLD. It's really common. It's where fat builds up in the liver, and it can lead to some really serious inflammation and scarring. And to give you an idea of the scale, in the United States alone, 100 million people are affected by this. That's a huge number. So to try and get a handle on this, engineers at MIT have built something amazing, a liver on a chip. Now, the old way to study this stuff was basically just clumps of liver cells in a petri dish. Pretty simple. But the new way, this is the game changer. Their model actually includes blood vessels. This means they can watch immune cells flow through the tissue, just like they would in your actual body. It's a way more realistic look at how the disease actually works. And this isn't just a cool science project, right? The really crucial part is what this means for creating new medicines. With this new model, researchers are already starting to understand why some drugs, like one called resmetirom, only seem to work for some patients. By seeing the disease in action so accurately, they can pinpoint new ways to attack it. And that could massively speed up the process of finding better treatments that work for more people. So, speaking of speeding things up, let's talk about a technology that is poised to be a massive accelerator for all kinds of science, including everything we've just talked about: I'm talking, of course, about artificial intelligence. Over at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, they're building something called Forum AI, and you can pretty much think of it as the ultimate AI research assistant for scientists. It's actually a system of three AIs working together. First, a generative AI comes up with brand new ideas and hypotheses. Then, a reasoning AI takes those ideas, makes a plan, and figures out how to test them. And finally, an agentic AI actually does the work, running simulations or even controlling robots in a real lab. And believe me, this isn't just a cool research paper. This is part of a huge push by the Department of Energy called the Genesis mission. The whole point is to dramatically cut down the time it takes to find new materials for things like better batteries, faster semiconductors, you name it. We're talking about taking a process that used to take decades and shrinking it down to just a few years. This could totally change the game for clean energy tech and so much more. You know, we're jumping from deep space to AI to biotech all in one go. If you find this kind of stuff as fascinating as I do, and you want to stay up to date on all the latest breakthroughs, it would be awesome if you take a second to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out. All right, to wrap things up today, let's head back to space exploration. We've got a couple of really important updates on some big missions that are, well, they're facing a few challenges right now. Okay, so first up, SpaceX. On February 2nd, a Falcon 9 launched just fine, deployed its Starlink satellites, but then the upper stage didn't do its final little engine burn to come back down safely. Now, because of that, SpaceX has hit the pause button. The entire Falcon 9 fleet, which is pretty much the busiest rocket in the world, is grounded for now while they figure out exactly what happened. And of course, that immediately raises a big question about the next crewed mission to the International Space Station. The Crew 12 mission is supposed to launch on February 11th. If the fleet's grounded for long, that could definitely cause some delays and affect everything from crew swaps to the science getting done up there. And at the same time, NASA is dealing with its own setback. The Artemis 2 mission, you know, the one that's supposed to send astronauts around the moon for the first time since 1972, has now been delayed to early March of 2026. The reason? They found a propellant leak while they were testing the fueling of that giant SLS rocket. So they're taking their time to get it right. So that's the latest science news for today. We heard that incredible echo from a black hole merger that proves Hawking was right. We saw a tiny liver on a chip that could change medicine. We looked at how AI is about to supercharge research. And we got the latest on some big challenges for human spaceflight. And that is your update. We'll be back with more science news. Another update will follow in 24 hours.